sons and daughters.
Welcome to Venus.
Who we are, making peace to build our future. Strong, united, working till we fall. And we all lift, and we're all adrift together.
Welcome back to O-T-H. Welcome back to Tenno-The-Humanities' 4th episode, although it could be called this time Tennocon the Humanities, because we're going to be covering it as part of our Waffle McGarb.
That's quite good.
Thanks.
That was good.
I thought of that.
I
It
could
came
tell.
out of my mouth.
Did you write it down with a pen?
Who are you?
Hello. I'm Paddy, and I did not expect to be doing a podcast like this because I, frankly, if you'd asked me last week, hey, let's do a Warframe podcast, I'd been like, but dog, I haven't played it.
And if I went, but Rabbit, why aren't you playing it? What did you tell me? Because you did tell me this recently. It wasn't that long ago that we had this conversation where it was like, oh, you can come back to Warframe.
Well, I kind of like stuff. It was a combination of things. Mostly with there being so fucking much coming out, like you know, your Monster Hunters and something that took over quite a large portion of my early part of this year. You know, because those kind of games, you've got to give them a good time investment, and I don't know if I've got time in my evenings for 2 of those. And what we're getting the One Bro stuff done as well, and you know, various other things appearing and coming out. It's like, well, I'll get back to it later. And I've realised after about 4 months I hadn't touched it. I thought, do you know what? I need the hard drive space. I'm just going to delete it. I need some space. So I did. God of War was coming out. I needed the space. I needed 50 gigs. And I didn't have 50 gigs. And Warframe was 48 gigs. I was like, right, bye Warframe. Sorry. I need to play Angry Man with an axe game now. And it was good. I don't regret it. That was fun. That was a good use of time. That God of War game was very good. I liked it a lot. We're not here to talk about that, though. We're here to talk about Warframe. So yeah, I kind of drifted. And I think the point I'd gotten to it as well, I was kind of hitting a bit of a ceiling where... you know, like you sort of get to a point and you just can't quite work out what you need to do to get further. Like I think I had a couple of really difficult planet unlocks to do that I just couldn't get. Which, since I went back this week, would appear that I'd apparently done. But I was under the impression that I hadn't. It was one of the ones where you've got to beat like special puzzle rooms on the moon. Yeah. And apparently I thought I hadn't done this, but I've gone back and that junction's open. So I'm like, so do I just do it and get sick of it?
I haven't unlocked that. I've done certain bits that I think that unlock that certain sort of segment of the... Cause is it for like Eris or something?
It's not Eris. I think it's Sedna, maybe? It's not Eris, because Eris is the one I haven't got at the moment.
Yeah, because I've done one portion of that, but I've not been looking into Sedna. I don't know if I've actually unlocked that or not. I'll have to have a go up next time around.
But I didn't think I had. I thought I hadn't unlocked it, and turns out I had, and I just must have just gone, you know what, meh. And I kind of had that point where like there's a bunch of stuff happening, and I didn't really fancy doing a lot of it on my own, and our schedules weren't really syncing up. You know, it's like getting on with a couple of people, and not to sound mean, but if you go on with randoms, sometimes you go on and they've got the largest guns that have ever been created, like more gun than man.
Also, I mean, it has to be said, and this is completely in the game's credit, that we played this game from the end of July, because it's not long. It's about a week. In a week's time, last year was when kind of I first started talking to you about this, because it was like my last day at my old store before it closed.
Was it really?
Yeah, and I'd been talking to my friend Tara, because I'd heard that question on the Easy Allies podcast, where they were like, why don't you cover free-to-play games, because Warframe is in a really good place and it can't get any press attention. I was like, oh, okay. So I knew that Tara had played it. So I'd sort of, when Tara came to visit me on that last afternoon at the old store, and I'd sort of mined her for like what it was about and stuff. And then it wasn't long after that I'd sort of excitedly sent you like DMs on Twitter and brought you back to the fold. But it occupied our time, from the end of July right up until like Monster Hunter came out, right up until
it
Christmas.
was. Yeah.
And we had like tremendous fun, and especially, I mean, it was amazing having like all of our sort of friends on Twitter were sort of going along with us, and in a lot of cases like hammered into the distance ahead of us. But we were all figuring that stuff out together and all talking about it, and it felt like an old game where you get together with people in like a playground or a pub, and you'd go like, "Oh my god, have you heard this? Have you heard this?" Because that was the upswing, that there was no. The lack of hype meant that people really talked and enthused, and everybody had their own individual experiences and journey. And frankly, the Second Dream hit me harder than a game has hit me in a long time. And I kind of had to take a step back from that. I couldn't just go straight back into the game after the Second Dream. I had to process it, and in fact with the Second Dream it was weird because I finished it and then watched other people reacting to it just to see kind of how other folks were processing it and how it hit them and stuff. And
I would say we did that in what, November, December? That's around the end when we kind of I don't know about you, but I definitely drifted after that. Again, because Second Dream was so fucking good, like I loved the shit out of that, and I was like, so I did it first, if I remember rightly.
You did.
And then I just was saying, just fucking do it. Just do it. I know what you are. Yeah. You will appreciate it. Do it. Do it. And you're like, I'll do it later. No.
No, you know me well on this front. But even sort of, even having heard the communities, like, because nobody spoiled it for anybody. Everybody was like, oh, wait till you get to the Second Dream. But nobody would tell you about like the Second Dream because they all wanted you to experience it for yourself. And again, with the culture of so many people spoiling everything, and there being sort of a million articles on media sites about, you know, hot takes on various bits, it was kind of nice to approach something, even knowing that build up and even knowing what you'd said. I walked into that and Jesus Christ, I was in tears even before the end. Like the conversations between like Space Mom and was it Teshin that she was talking to, or
Teshin Dax, yeah.
And all those conversations that were going on were just phenomenal and just so well worded. The Void looked incredible. Hun Hao was just a sensational villain. But the last stuff that happened, it was like, dear God, this is huge. This is the point that you decide to come to story, and you're crowbarring me over the head with this.
100 hours in. By the way, here's a bomb. Enjoy this.
Should we do story? Yeah. And case in point, like I say, after I'd done it, I went to see Tara again, and we were sort of chatting about Warframe, and I was the person coming back to the city on the bus, watching someone else playing through the Second Dream and crying, looking at my phone.
Oh goodness! Yeah,
there's one line in it, and I'd state now that if there are two tattoos that I've ever sort of super considered, and that line, like dream not of who you are, but of who you want to be. It cuts through me. Delivery's amazing, the line's amazing, and I probably just bastardised it there a little bit, but it's another sort of treasure that we had so much to do afterwards, but it felt like, how much game have we had from there?
Yeah, and do you know what? Again, every single time we get a moment like this with the game. So, again, I had this week with Laura, because I did The War Within this week, and she was sitting there watching it with me, and we're playing it, and I think at 5 separate points in the game, I turned to Laura and said, Laura, this game is free. Look at what's happening on the television screen right now that I didn't have to pay a penny for. Look at this. Look at this game. Because when DE make a thing, they don't fuck about, do they?
They certainly don't. And it was weird because after you said that you played The War Within, and knowing that we were going to sort of have a little bit of a natter here, I watched somebody playing The War Within to kind of remind myself again, because I'd done it before you this time. I'd done it about February, March time I did it. And I think I appreciated it all the more for kind of sitting back and watching it rather than... it's not like I didn't enjoy it when I played it, but if there was kind of the mongoose on my shoulder, that mongoose was the second dream and how it hit me. And, you know, so taking that step back, it was interesting to appreciate it all the more. And I think it is a bit more... It does feel a lot more trial and error than the second dream. What am I supposed to be doing at like various points? But
I had a bit absolutely definitely break. No, let's not do specifics.
No.
There was a bit that broke, but I managed to find a workaround where I had.
We can do that later. We can do that
Yeah,
later.
yeah.
I've got some War Within stuff, so we can, even if we don't do it now, we can do it sort of next time, and we'll have a proper nosh on it.
Yeah, we'll be spoiler friendly this time, everybody. So don't worry about your ear holes. You can keep them clear.
So was the War Within the point where you go straight back into that after you return to it then? Or?
Almost. So I booted it back in. Again, 45 gig download these days, which is like a bit more than the 4 that it says it was on the start on the PS4 screen.
Let's face it. How huge is the game though now?
Oh, it's ridiculous at this point, but it's still like, cool, 4 gig. Hang on a second, it's not 4 gig, is it? That was a joke. How many? Oh, 44. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, and the reason I got back to it, maybe we should cover this, because we talked about this last night, but I think this is probably important to cover.
Because we were playing it last night as well, and we will cover that, because we had a lot of fun. It was the sort of gaming that just dissolves how work's been and how life's been, and we would, even with PSN forcing us to talk on like Skype on tablets. We were so determined that we were going to do this. I
rolled my computer chair back over to my computer, put Skype on the PC, and I'm staring at my TV from like half the living room away.
And you know, I got my tablet and I plugged it into the wall, and I stuck my headset in there, hoping that it would work, and not really sure that it would. But we were determined to do that last night, and I really enjoyed it. We were on for hours, and it was the sort of thing where it was like, right, let's bring out a
different boy,
a low range boy. Right,
small
where
boy.
you got
small boy, tiny boy. How old is your boy? My boy is 2. My boy is 2 also. Tiny boys.
Let's do it. Do you think we can do this mission? Probably not. My guns are good though. Taking your big guns.
Yeah.
Big guns, tiny boy.
What now? Big boys?
Yeah.
Big boys, big stuff,
I haven't
big
used
boys.
this one for a while. Oh, I've got a better colour palette for this.
Ooh, let's go colour them
Just
in.
give me a minute.
Now bring a boy you don't like. Ooh, bring a boy I don't like.
Paddy. Now come into my ship. I got so much stuff to show you.
Yeah, you've got that, and I haven't that yet. That's really good. I got to see your ship. We're getting derailed. I want to talk about why I came back to the game.
Railjacked. That's what we've been.
I got railjacked. Oh no, stop it.
Well.
So a couple of weeks ago, I bought myself a PlayStation VR, and we will talk about that another time because I have a lot of things to say about it.
Yeah, you do.
And we have railjacked enough. So I bought a PSVR, and I got a few games with it. I got Resi 7, which I've not tried yet. I've got Wipeout, PlayStation Worlds, a bunch of demos, and I purchased Skyrim VR because it was on sale on the network for like 15 quid, and I thought, well, do you know what? 15 quid, that's worth a punt. So on Sunday of this week, so it's Friday now, so a few days ago, I was at work. I'm thinking, right, just got to push through today. A long day, push through, and tonight when I get home, I'm going to play Skyrim VR for the first time. Looking forward to it. Up for this tonight. Brilliant. And then what happened is, while holding a glass coffee tabletop, while taking it to the back of the shop, it burst in my hands and went into my iron mouth. Yeah, so tiny chunk, like that kind of shatterproof glass. It's that crumbly shit. So it burst upwards somehow. It's been so hot in the UK, at very least, this for the last few weeks. Like, maybe it had weakened the glass. I don't know. I wasn't carrying it weird or anything stupid like that. I was just holding it nice and normal, like I've done 1,000 times, but it decided to explode on me. So it went in my mouth, spat that out, went in my eye. So I sort of mildly panicked in that kind of, shit. Oh, fuck, what do I do now? Poked a lot of it out the eye. Went and got some eye wash stuff. Stuck my head under the tap for a bit as well. Tried not to rub my eye too much. Could still feel something there, but it wasn't quite right. So I went to the drop-in centre. Lovely St Mary's drop-in centre in Portsmouth. Can't speak highly enough of that place. They're wonderful people. Was in there for about an hour, which is really good for drop-in centres. Usually you're there for like 3. Went in, saw a very nice man. He told me that the thing I could feel was not a piece of glass, but it was a tiny, tiny scratch on the front of my cornea, which is the front bit of the eye. I think it's cornea? Yeah, why not? So really small scratches, nothing to worry about. It's really, really small. And it will probably heal in a couple of days. Here's some eye ointment to put under your eyelid now. It's like, oh, cool, thanks. If you ever have to do that, it sucks. Try not to get glass in your eye, because the ointment shit is not good. It's not that it hurts, but you can feel it. And it's there in the corner. You can see it, particularly the first half an hour when it's still not quite gone. You're like, I can see it. I can see it. I want to rub it out my eye. Can't touch it. And it kind of annoys you more than it irritates, if that makes sense. So anyway, what this meant is that I came home with a slightly wonk left eye, thinking, well, I can't really stick my head into a VR headset now, can I? Nor can I for a few days. But I kind of want to play something big, but something I can do in short bursts.
Ordis will heal you.
Ordis, yes, with his technology. So I thought, yeah, fuck it, I'll do Warframe again. I had to leave the PS4 on most of the night to download it, because it's a big old file, and my internet was not having it that night either. So I didn't get to play that night, and I was kind of just diddling around watching YouTube and, playing Spelunky and Binding of Isaac again, because that's always good for a quick 20 minutes. And yeah, the next night I was like, well, I was still a bit weird, so I thought, fuck it, back to Warframe I go. I think because Tennocon had just happened on Sunday or Saturday, it just happened.
Was I bouncing up and down like a man whose face hole and brain cabbage was full of so many words that they would not stay in there and had to force their way out onto my fingers and through the internet superhighway?
I believe so. You were like an excited alien ready for space Christmas.
My word.
So that helped. And I was like, fuck it, Warframe again. And that's what prompted me to get back in. And
I'm glad.
Diddle around a little bit at first, because I kind of thought I want to use Loki. Because he was technically, admittedly, 5 years ago, but my first frame. I thought, I want to go back and try him out again. Because I kind of don't feel like I gave him a fair stake of the stick.
And he is supposed to be. There's a lot of Loki love up there.
Well, I found a duration mod worth a damn now, so I can actually use his invisibility for more than like 8 seconds.
And part of it is, we discussed this last night, but part of it with the Warframe is, I'm not really sure about you. I just concentrate on the guns. I just run through the levels. That's fine. Just maybe try this. Well, I'm not sure about that. I can't even remember what the abilities are. That one's all right. Maybe I'm not sure about that. And then it gets to the point, I'll look at my cards, and then you just go like, all right, so yeah, that thing I could do that, and then all of a sudden it's just like, I can't help falling in love with you.
The button you pushed that previously made a small enemy just kind of go pop and look a bit annoyed now makes the screen burst.
Yeah, and then you go,
oh, I see.
All right, my darling.
All right, babe.
All right, my friend.
All right, Gov. All right, geezer. Go Warframe.
Yeah. Oh, my friend.
What, Tenno?
Go on.
So yeah, I popped Loki back out, chucked on my good guns. I didn't really feel like... I thought my guns will make up for the lack of skill. So I brought my big boy guns out and just kind of did some easy-ass missions, like really, really simple, like Earth, rank 4, rank 5, like level 4 or 5 missions. Like nothing that would even strain a level 1 character. But I thought, do you know what, I'm going to run around, get used to the powers again, and had a lot of fun. Like I thought, this is what invisibility does. And I was getting the hang of his other stuff, like his teleport and his decoy you can throw down. Not quite got the measure of the radial disarm yet, but I'm getting better at it. Which is where you hit the button and everyone around you in a certain radius, all their guns fall off.
Cool.
So it means if you've got a bunch of men shooting at you, you can kind of run in the middle and go boosh, and then they can't shoot you anymore. They have to run at you and hit you with a stick. And as long as you run backwards, you're okay.
I think I've got something like that for Ash as well. I think he confuses like the enemy and sort of throws them into a bad place, and then I can kind of teleport into them and do some damage.
Well, I learned a new trick as well. I was watching a couple of videos like how to use Loki, because there's a couple of his powers I don't use that much. The switch teleport one particularly I don't like, or don't really use, because it's like, switch places with someone else, and it costs like it's the third power, so it's like 75 energy. It's like, that's an awful lot of energy for something I could just go invisible, stand behind him and stab him. Like, why would I use that? I've learned why now. What you do is, if you've got a big boy that's really, really pissing you off, like a Nox or a Juggernaut or like one of the big boys, bring them near an edge of a map, jump off the edge of the map, switch teleport with them, you swap places, they fall off the map.
And have you kind of have you got your head around doing this properly, or is it one of those kind of concepts that sits in your head, but you've still got to kind of sort it a bit?
I've done it a bit. I've had a quick go at it, and I think I can get better at it. I've only had a couple of fleeting goes at it, but in the right situation, I think that's going to be a difference maker. Just pulling someone, or like just pulling someone into a fire pit, or just like standing over somewhere bullshit and going, right, you're in there now, lol.
A difference maker, not a game changer, people. A difference maker.
A difference maker, because that's what a lot of the guides I was looking at saying. Loki's more of a, he can change the battlefield, like he can fuck with the enemies, he can throw a teleport, like his decoy down to confuse people. And while it doesn't have much health, if you put it somewhere awkward, they'll have to run around and find the damn thing.
I got you.
And it will be annoying for them. And the invisibility is obviously just poof, see you later, run behind you, stab, 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 stab. As long as you bring quiet weapons as well, you won't get spotted. So I'm working on, in our dojo, I'm building a main weapon, which is a submachine gun that is silenced. I think it's called the Drax.
Okay.
I set that on to do yesterday, so that'll be 2 days' time, that'll be research. And then I'm going to build one, and then be Captain Quiet. And just run around quietly, shooting things. Because at the minute you go invisible, you're like, oh, I do need to shoot a guy though. It's like, da-da-da-da-da-da. Oh, there he is. So yeah, and again, the radial disarm, I'm getting slightly better at picking my moment for that. I haven't got much range on it at the moment. I need to kind of mod better for that. But I'm kind of just in the best of a medium situation on my cards at the moment. I've not messed around with polarities that much. And I kind of want to go for the prime one, but I know it's going to be a lot of work to get its bits. Even so far as looking up a guide on which relics the bits fall out of, so I know which ones to try and get. As of yet, haven't seen a single one of them in 2 days of looking. But we'll see. We will see. Yeah,
I think I have a Loki bit, so yeah, we'll see.
Well, the guide I went to said go to the Plains of Eidolon. Look at the missions, look at the bounty missions there, because they'll have the list of what the rewards are, including what relic you'll get, or you could get.
Okay.
It's like, oh, I need like Lith G7. And if I see Lith G7, like, right, I'll do this mission then, and hope that I get the right one. I might not, but, you know, who said it'd be easy? I don't want to spend money on it, so I'm going to do it the hard way. By playing the video game, which is fun, which is okay. It's okay. So, yeah, I've bucked around with Loki quite a bit. And then obviously last night when we hopped on, just tried out 5 or 6 different boys.
We just kind of reacquainted ourselves, and I showed you some of the fashion frame I've been doing since you were there. Also, some of the freebies that have kind of kicked in, like the anniversary stuff, like they gave away like that Dexcalibur outfit, which is really cool, and the twin swords, which I then had to go and buy the little thing that made them sit on either side of my hips, because I think one normally slotted on the top of my back, and the other one, like, you know, between sort of my shoulder blades, and the other one sort of slid in like across like my waist, almost like a belt, and like sticking out either side. But I was like, do I want those sitting on either side of my, you know, hip bones, like some sort of crazy future robot pirate? Yeah, I think that's the look I can get used to.
That sounds like a thing that I want.
But I was, I went out with. I've been sort of monkeying around with Frost anyway. Although I only brought him out, I think, later on last night, because I wanted to show you my fashion frame again. But Frost Prime was a favourite on sort of Xbox One. So tickling up the basic version has been just familiar and fun. I didn't bring Cora out last night. I have her to level. I bought her.
Is she the one that's got the dog?
Yeah, the kind of animal. And
the cat. Sorry, the cat
and stuff. But I've not. You know, when you've got a little bit of plat, and all of a sudden it's like 75% comes up, and you go like, yeah, I think I'm probably gonna buy something.
Yeah. Which is the most difficult Warframe to get that I want? That one, right?
It's one of those where it's like, I mean, even 50%, I'll go like, there's not really anything that I want to get. But if you're 75%, you're like, you are buying something.
But those coupons apply to credit purchases as well.
They do.
I didn't know that until later. I was like, oh, I've got to buy something platinum now. You haven't got to at all. It's genius.
But I've got 1 million credits anyway. Because
How?
man,
I never have more than like 30,000 at any point. I'm always spending them on my cards and upgrading shit. How do you not? How do you have 1 million credits?
Because I just used to sort of sit there and just do loads and loads of missions on my own and sort of play and listen to podcasts.
I spend that on my boy. I don't just let them sit. I'm not like Scrooge McDuck in space. Jesus.
You play that game. You'd like to be Scrooge McDuck in space.
Life is like a hurricane here in Warframe.
That's good. Warframe. Ooh,
spaceships, lasers, and grenade.
That kind of works. But yeah, I've still got 1 million credits, so that's never a thing. But yeah, so I went for Cora, but I've not done much with her yet. Trinity Prime I showed you off last night, who has 2 hats. One that makes her look like an 80s jukebox, which is fine because I've made her look super retro wave anyway. The other one makes her look like something from Bubblegum Crisis. It's hence even more synthwave. I've been cracking into Ash Prime because that was a drop from the weekend. Who I love the look of. I bought the cougar skin, I think it is, for it, which is beautiful. And I showed you that other helmet that I got for it, the one that's like a VR helmet but with lights and spikes on it and
the big pipe sticking out the back.
Yeah, I like that.
That looked good.
So I've coloured my Ash Prime shocking pink. And the Tennocon stuff made me realise that I could get a different look for my ship. So instead of it being blue and yellow inside, as it was, I just coloured all the floor white and then just stuck loads of pink lights everywhere.
I'm amazed it took you this long to find that.
What?
That's like the first thing I did.
What?
Customising the colours of your walls and stuff.
No, but I did it way back because my Xbox ship was green inside and my PlayStation.
But you haven't gone back since you bought all the extra colour packs.
Yeah, and well, my PlayStation inside was blue and yellow.
Okay.
But seeing the railjack section in the Tennocon stuff, where all the floors and all the walls were white, I was like, "Oh, that looks really good." It's almost like one of those house renovation things where it's like, what you need to do to attract buyers is just magnolia. Just make the place it looks bigger. And it does. Like some
sort of spacefaring Lawrence Llewellyn Bowen.
That's exactly what it is. And it did look nice, you have to admit. Also,
handy Orbis.
Also, without being creepy, showed you my special room.
I did go in the special room. Yeah. It wasn't as creepy as I expected. A little bit stark.
Yeah, I haven't done much with it yet, but it is there.
Special room. A perfect room one could have a tea party in.
This is another thing. Like there were 2 things when I had a conversation with you about watching the Tennocon stuff. And I was chuffed that you were going to watch the Tennocon stuff, and I wasn't sure that you were coming back to Warframe at this point. I just thought it was cool, and I was like, there is something in that presentation that is so you. It's the thing that you always wanted, but you didn't realise you always wanted. It's so much a part of you, but you don't even realise that you know it. And you were like, "What?" And I was like,
I remember guessing, and the things I guessed were like close, but not great.
Nah.
Well, hang on. Twitter's moved the button. It's at the bottom now. What the fuck? I was going to try and find them because I remember being disappointed in myself at my own brand, describing my own brand in such a bad way.
I don't think you were far off like you stuff, but this was a dream that you didn't realise you had, and now you realise it's a dream of yours all along. But we'll cover that when we dive into.
Yeah. God, this was ages ago. We were talking for ages. What did I say? Okay. So my first guess when you said you'd made something that was for me was that they've made every Warframe orange, and also Andrew WK is now a Warframe, which would be good. and you said no, better, even more you. And I was like, which means it's related to being an utter bellend. And then I realised that my two brands are orange and being a bellend. And I've chosen that for myself. And I wasn't far off.
No.
Because I couldn't achieve both things. Yeah.
To be fair, they have given away a glyph, which is the Warframe logo, but with a heart and a G in the middle. And I was like, Paddy, that G is for Guardian Con, but it could also be for Ginger, and you could colour that glyph orange.
On brand. Hashtag.
Also,
Hashtag.
Whereas Destiny would be like, oh, we're doing a season pass where there's going to be a few things in there that you can get, but
there's one more gun.
You're gonna have to pay for it, and there's gonna be a thing. And Warframe just goes like, do you want a tea set for your ship? This isn't the thing that we're talking about, by the way. This isn't the thing that's very Paddy. This is the second thing that I mentioned today.
Yeah.
And now you've got that tea set on the side near the market, which looked really good.
Yeah, it's sat pleasantly on the side. I was trying to find a nice table in the ship, and because I haven't got my living quarters yet, I couldn't find somewhere to put it, so I've stuck it next to my marketplace so I can have tea while I browse and shop.
No, it was outstanding.
Kind of like how I have the real setup. I've got tea next to me here as I sit at my computer. It's the same.
It was good. Why has it taken this long for a company to realise that if you're out in space, you might want to put a brew on?
Yeah. A magical tea set in space.
Genius. And free. Nice cup of free.
Trying to think of a good tea space pun.
Nah.
An oolong time ago.
No.
In a galaxy darjeeling away.
It's a coffee set for me, obviously. And
it's a pot of something hot. Pot of hot liquid.
No.
It could be gravy.
It's for when I'm grinding.
Oh.
Yay!
Oh.
It's the thing in the game.
Because that's the thing you do.
Grind it for loot.
That's pretty good. Thanks. I'll let you have that one.
Thanks. But yeah, so carry on.
Where were we?
You were having your guesses at the thing that I told you was for you.
So we're guessing. So I put on. I'd seen the frankly wonderful music song they put together, the "We All Live Together" song, which we'll get to in a minute.
You saw that beforehand?
I saw that. It was like a 2-minute video. Like, oh, go on then, I'll click it. And I really, really liked it. I was like, fuck, that's really cool. Like, that's proper. And then I think the next day I was like, you know what, I'm going to sit and watch this. I think was it yesterday, the day before? Something like that.
Day before. No.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yesterday.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, Laura was asleep and she came downstairs halfway through and was watching it with me at the end.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'll pop that on, and they do a little gameplay demo, and they're kind of doing like they did for Planes of Eidolon, kind of dropping into the new social space and walking around and meeting the new vendors and looking at the new things you can do. Ooh, you can make guns now. Ooh, very shiny. Ooh, I'll do that.
This is just on the quick bit that you watched?
No, I watched the whole stream. Like, the quick bit was just that video, just the music, and it kind of faded out at the end. Can
we stop there?
Oh, no.
And can we appreciate that song? Like, we've seen viral marketing for various games, but the fact that this song is so good that none of us can get it out of our head. And obviously with me at work, like whenever I'm making something, I'll kind of I'll unlock the espresso machine, so and then like I'm sort of banging out the old grind. I'm like boom boom boom, and then I'm like and then I'm like tamping machine like. So all today when I've been doing it, I'm just hearing like, I'm just hearing it in the back of my head.
Yep.
And that amazing remix version that I sent you today, I'm just hearing that bass line in the background.
Oh, it was good. I've been humming it at work as well because I lift and shift many things all day.
There we go.
It's just literally I'm lifting a thing while I'm thinking, oh, lift together.
I will sound it kind of. Just sort of prefix a lot of this stuff as well, that having watched many of the streams that DE have done, the dev streams have always shown off like new animations and new enemies that they're working on and concept art stuff, and they promised within the forthcoming expansion the ability to exist in a prog rock album cover, which to me was like, yeah, I love that. Yeah, thanks.
What?
So and Tennocon was the big reveal of that. So So yeah, you got the We All Live Together sort of chain gang Oompa Loompa type song, showing the hub world of Fortuna, where sort of cybernetic people that I think work that are part of Solaris United.
Human body, robot head. They
Yeah.
never do it that way around.
What about that?
That's cool.
Yeah,
Are they
Warframe
still
is
a
weird.
human?
Warframe's weird in the best way possible. Warframe is weird. But it was you that pointed that out to me, because at first I was thinking like, oh, their head's just inside kind of cybernetic helmet. No, they just don't have.
They don't
heads.
appear to have.
They don't have
flesh heads.
human heads.
But the children
connected.
do.
For now.
For now, is that part of it? Like
No,
kind of like a bris.
I don't know, but they were saying
But
that
it's not the foreskin; it's the entire head.
they were saying that they returned to the planet to sort of open up these old Orokin vents and stuff.
Yeah.
For the planet, something along those lines.
Stuff,
But
yeah.
that song as an intro was just stunning.
Tongue-setter.
I've
Proper
watched this.
tongue-setter, yeah.
Yeah, but how many times have you known a game to kind of go, not to use sort of some sort of breathy indie version of an 80s song, like slowed down, but, or kind of a popular artist, or even like a kind of quirky artist, but an actual song that had been written for the game, which everybody can't get out of their heads. And it's so good, but it's such a warm way to invite people into a new world. It's exciting.
It kind of sets the tone, like the way it kind of sets up, like you say, is like a prison gang song almost, like a work song. It kind of paints the tone of the world being a very kind of like hard-working men and women with big tools, not necessarily fighting stuff, but hard builders, like almost dwarves in a way.
Yeah.
Dwarfy in that sort of, we are strong and we build and we're good at building stuff. Saying that,
oh my god, that's another thing, because like some people have mentioned like Chain Gang song, and I was like, oh, okay. I kind of heard when I first heard it like an Oompa Loompa song, but from what you've just said, it's like hi ho, it's soft. It's like that, isn't it?
it's off to space we go.
Yeah, but it's got that same kind of mining.
That sort of rhythmic
Yeah.
bang. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do.
See, now
Bang.
it's in my head again.
We're back.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what I did like. That moving on next from that, the gun crafting. I like that you can make your own gun now. I like that they all look like pieces of shit as well. After all these really elaborate, fancy-looking, Paris Prime bows and fancy, elaborate-looking guns, and the ones that you can build here just look like hacked-together pieces of trash, and I love it.
Well, they call them kit guns, which is essentially what they are. It's just, and I saw a Tactical Potato video today, and he was like, basically you can get whatever you want from these, and it isn't just a look. If you want a gun to fire more powerfully, if you want to give it, want it to have like more rounds instead, if you want it to be quieted, you can literally buy this stuff, lock together whatever gun you want, and that's just super cool. And it seems like one of those wonderful, like sort of, I don't know, like in inverted commas, like afterthought things of DE, where they just go, oh, this is cool, we could just let people build their own guns and make them look like they're made of plastic, and they just all slot together and they do other stuff. Yeah, that's really great. Right, you're going to get on that, Barry. Yeah, I'm working on that now. I mean, yeah.
It's an extension of the Zor, isn't it? The melee weapon thing, which I still haven't done. I keep meaning to do that, and again, because I've been away for a while, I haven't done it, but I will be doing that, and I'm just
these are going to be
crippled by indecision.
These are going to be like secondary weapons, and Angry Joe sort of said like, so are we going to get kit gun primaries? And just Steve just went Tennocon 4. So,
well, that's fair.
Yeah.
Well, baby steps. But then after that, we then moved on to the good bit.
This is the bit that I built up to.
Yeah, this is the bit where Laura was watching with me at this point, I think. And this is the bit where I was just like, I think I was punching her in the arm, like, Laura, look!
Is this the point that you instantly realised that this was a dream that you never had, but
I believe I sent you a tweet that was just,
Yeah.
I know what the thing is, So yeah, showed off. So it's basically the Moa enemies that you fight in the game. They're kind of the walkie leg
sort of like large velociraptor cameras.
Yeah,
who can put.
You see them in corpus areas quite a lot.
Yeah,
the leg beasts.
And they they sort of lift up on one leg, and then they smash one down, and they kind of fire out like a ring of fire. Yeah, I'll let you do the reveal for this.
You can now have a pet one, and you can make it look like how you want, including, but not limited to, but oh my god, you can give it a top hat and a fucking bow tie.
A top hat and a bow tie with
Come,
guns
Mr.
on legs.
Figginspot, come hither.
I love that you've named him already.
Mr. Figginspot, come hither. We have business to achieve.
I just like this idea of, you know how people like turn up in the plains of Eidolon? Just like all of these people like turning up and just suddenly like their sort of warframes just slow down and they're like, oh, look at this place, and just like you scream on it and just like, where's the man that sells the top hat bow tie robot? You put down and tell me now, point with your weapon.
You, man of spanners, how do I construct my own personal Figginspot butler?
Because apparently, like, I hadn't thought of it as a butler, and that's really, really good. Apparently Sheldon wasn't supposed to show the top hat and bow tie thing. He just steamed straight on in and wanted to show it off. And let's face it, it is really good.
Yeah, why wouldn't you show that? Like, that's lit a fire under me that I will be jumping on that day one and doing everything in my power. At the cost of progression, at the cost of unlocking other stuff, at the cost of anything. That's my first priority. Without fail.
Being the contrarian, as I am, I was the person that put off having a pet sort of by my side forever in this game. I was just happy to have kind of the little floaty robot.
Because you saw the fucking accident that mine was.
I was admiring that more than anything, but I was...
I put assist into it.
You did, but
the button prompt came up like, do you want to put in a helmet assist? I went, yeah, sure. Wait, what? And I'd already pressed the button at that point. I was like, oh, fuck.
I didn't realise this was a thing until you told me, because like there's a... for those that aren't playing it, there's assist that is like this little pink mouse that attaches to your neck, and it transfers between players. And if you go down into your ship, there's a room that opens if you've got that assist on, that you can walk into, and you sit in like a dentist chair, and there's like this kind of horrible spider like legs that come out from behind it, and there's all this gunge all over the floor, and it basically eats the cyst off your neck. But you can build a pet in the game to go along with you, like a sort of the equivalent of like a cat and a dog. But Paddy was keeping this cyst on his neck because he liked it.
Not really. I didn't know what it exactly was, and it wasn't really doing any harm.
And he went to build his pet, and he got the ingredients for the pet, and the ship system said, we've got an anomaly, do you want to chuck it in? At which point you went,
alright.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't really think about it.
And then you got some sort of spider leopard cat, which is great.
Some sort of coral beast. I call it Mistake.
But you weren't using that last night.
No, I wasn't. The reason being is because Mistake cost an awful lot to feed. And the rate I get through credits, like, you know, you'll be fine. But, like, I couldn't afford the food. The damn thing was, like, dying. Not dying, but, like, I wasn't looking after it well.
Whereas my crew bro, Java, I genuinely love this dog more than anything in the universe. And I love the fact that when
Is that why you let it die so much?
No.
Ooh, shade thrown.
How dare you?
Ooh.
But I love the fact that seemingly as it got more confident, it started to come up to the front of the ship. And you saw it last night. There was bits where it would just be like looking out of the window, and then it just like curl up and fall asleep. And when I walk past it, lift its head up and look at me. And sometimes you see it having like a little dream and stuff. I love that Kubro so much, and I love the mission as well, where you first bond with it, and you're basically just thrown into a mission that you shouldn't really get out of, and the dog learns to trust you because you're protecting it. And the dog bonds with you because it starts to protect you, which is a piece of literal genius for a mission. But from that point on, I loved that dog, and I can't go for anything else. I love that dog so much.
I mean, I do like my dog. I don't think I love
Yours
my dog.
is like it's more of a cat leopard insect.
It came out orange as well, which is actually for the best.
Yeah, mine came out Man City Blue.
Well, when it came out, I wasn't sure what it was at first. Like, what is that? That's not a dog.
That's not
moved.
something that you tell an animal, even if it can't understand you.
I couldn't tell which part of it was the face. Like Ebriatus in Bloodborne, like, which is the front end of this horrible, horrible canine mistake that I have made.
Taking it to the vets. Have you got any questions? Which is the face?
Stuff comes out of both ends, but I'm not sure which end to stuff stuff into.
Which bit is it using to bite people?
Both! I'm not sure what it is. So I kind of I put my pet into stasis. So she's okay. She's still alive. But decided to bring my Taxon back out because it just survives long. It's got that nifty freeze beam. I like that freeze beam. It does make a difference quite a bit. And it's quite a good enemy radar when you've not got a radar card on you. So yeah, I brought my Artax back out just because it's simple and I know how it works. And I haven't got to spend 100,000 credits every few days keeping the damn thing alive. Stupid dog. But yeah, I love my dog. I just don't need it right now. I might bring her out again later, but we'll see.
No, this is all about the Christmas day when you manage to get your dream of a top hat with a bow tie on legs.
Yeah,
also,
I mean that's going to be
guns.
Figginsbot. Come hither.
You've named it
Figginsbot.
already.
It's Figginsbot. It can only be Figginsbot, and it will be an adorable butler man, and he's going to tromp around the plains. Helping me out, not only with assisting me with destroying enemies, but also etiquette.
Or can you imagine if you could give it like a... You know how you've got R2-D2 use those beep, boop, boops? Can you imagine if you can make it do like posh beeps?
Beep,
Like,
boop, boop, boop.
You see what I mean?
I'll make it sound like a fax machine.
Or one of those old,
Dial-up modems.
90s, old 90s printers.
Yeah.
See, that's kind of cool.
God, it's happening. And like again, I know you were saying earlier about all these kind of experienced, cool players walking out onto the plains with their cool dogs or their cool little floaty taxons, being like, "Yes, let us go meet this new land." And I'm dashing forward, going, "Figginsbot, come! We must find rocks."
But I remember like when you were first getting into like color palettes and stuff. There's me sort of really trying hard to like get these sort of right colours and right resonance, and you just turn up like, I look like an action figure, and you did. You just looked like a kind of the most plastic action figure, and that was kind of your aesthetic, and you're fine with that.
I hit random.
You did that last night though, like
several
random,
times,
random. Oh, it looks really good, and sadly it did.
Yeah, random. The only ones I've coloured specifically are my Rhino, which I'm very proud of, which is a lovely sort of white and like very light blue colour.
It's very good. It's quite subtle for you.
Yeah, well, because I thought of this joke and I had to do it because it's like almost... I saw a packet of chewing gum at a shop in its blue packet, and I thought, Spearmint Rhino. And that was it. That was it done. There we go, Spearmint Rhino.
That's a pole dancing club in London.
A really posh one.
Paddy may or may not frequent. Although it's quite...
How dare you?
It's quite bizarre. Like the pole dancing club just down the road from me is called Baby Platinum.
Wow.
And I just imagine like Warframes on the stage just like dancing and stuff. Like, yeah. Can I pay you in credits, love?
Rhino and his giant cock.
Just me reaching into my bra and just like throwing out 1 million credits on the stage. Yeah. Lose the helmet.
Weird. I'll have you know, I've never been in a strip club in my life. The one at the university we used to call the bakery because of all the buns and baps.
Oh, well played.
Yeah, but no, I would not go in one of those houses of ill repute.
So we then sort of monkeyed about a little bit more, and we got missions and stuff, and we stepped into a lift, and we headed up to the surface of Venus, not the hot, dusty planet that we've seen elsewhere, but one with the massive sort of funnel in the middle, and the surface being cooled into a snowy form. What did you think? Because I'd seen the concept artwork quite some time ago, and that promise of you'll be walking around in a prog rock cover, and that door opened and just went, yep.
Yeah, pretty much, isn't it? Like you come in, there's a huge tornado of like heat above you, in front of you, in a giant crater, and then there's kind of mushrooms everywhere and a giant crab, just a big old crab. Like, okay, I'm very dead, but I'm going to enjoy walking around. And to be fair, I don't think I will enjoy walking around because I will be going around exclusively by fucking surfboard.
Oh, we're jumping straight to that, are we?
We are jumping, kick flipping, and 360 nose boning straight to it.
Let's call them by their name. They're actually called K-Drives, but they are sort of jet hoverboards. And again, in the
K-Drive.
Yeah, they're called K-Drives.
It sounds like you're really dismissively wanting to leave. Like, oh, should we go K-Drive?
No, but there was a question in the Angry Joe video where he says, like, so are these just limited to Venus? And he was like, no, you can use them on the planes as well. And then he said, can we use the Arcwing on Venus? And he was like, yep. And he was like, can I shoot a gun whilst being on the K-Drive? And he said, this is going... Steve Sinclair said, this is being debated at the minute because if you could shoot a gun on a hoverboard, you'd never want to get off. So there are internal discussions as to whether you should or shouldn't be able to do that. But they said, like, there will be Tenno-Gen for it, so you'll be able to get like different hoverboards, different color schemes. They're just going to open it up in the same way as they do with Warframes and stuff, which is super cool.
I agree that maybe you shouldn't be able to shoot. Maybe swing a sword. That would be fine. Like, do like cavalry drive-bys. That would be kind of fun. But maybe shooting a gun, like, because all you would then have is people just trying to do cool trick shots for their YouTube channel.
But what they did say is, even without the gun stuff, that the K-Drives can be useful in battle. They said, like, there's one thing with having kind of such a rocky landscape is, and they've seen this in their own testing, that if you were, say, fighting that giant super spider crab creature, and there was mountain ranges around you, you could K-Drive up part of the rocks, flip back over, and then be in a perfect position to attack the thing from the top as you're coming down. So you can then, like, you know, fire, land on the ground, kick into the K-Drive again, fire up, go up a little bit of mountain, flip back, put the K-Drive away, pull your gun out, and, like, you can basically do, like, all these kind of Tony Hawk's maneuvers to get you into, like, the best places to shoot it and to get you out of troubles and stuff, which is mental.
Goldfinger starts playing in the background. So here I am, doing everything I can.
See, oh god, those were some of the bits. The Angry Joe video was really, really joyous. It was really good, and it filled in a lot of the questions that I hadn't thought of in myself.
Can Figginsbot ride a K-Drive? Figginsbot, we must zoom.
It'd be great if the thing just jumped on your shoulder when you got on. So essentially,
I'd want him sitting on the front.
Well, there's that, but I kind of like the thought of you having some sort of backpack cuddle from your top hat, bow tie robot creature.
Or just grab him by a leg and just sort of drag him with him going, oh dear, the entire way.
Behind you. Yeah, what did you think then when you saw the hoverboards? Because the crowd just went bonkers.
Yeah, I went a bit bonkers. I kind of knew I'd seen pictures already, but I hadn't seen them move. I think again Laura was there, and I turned around and started emphatically placing my fist into her arm, going, "Laura, look!" And she's like, "I know, I'm in the room with you, Laura, but look though, look at that surfboard in space fun."
I kind of like that they look a little bit like just a graphics card with a jet engine on the back.
Yeah,
there's something quite wonderfully, you know, when you see sort of sci-fi designs in the modern day and they look too much. I like that it looks fit for purpose. They've ripped a sci-fi door off of a wall. Yeah, it looks kind of. It looks like the old stuff that you'd see in kind of sci-fi painted like hardbacks when I was a kid and stuff, with like Chris Foss stuff in, and it just
the design of the stuff in like all the sort of Fortuna stuff we've seen, all the design work all looks kind of sort of rough and ready, kind of like it's just been acted together and it works. It isn't designed to look pretty, it's designed to do a good job. And given how much of what we've got already is like uber pretty, it's quite a nice contrast, I think, because all the Warframes, like, they all look Like, they're really, really nicely, you know, like, ooh, we're really artistically designed. Whereas this is like, got this bit of metal, and we put an engine on the back, and it works. There you go.
There is something that I really love about the Warframes, though, is that they look off kilter. And I don't mean that in a crap way.
I agree, yeah.
There's something very, almost kind of Geiger-esque about them. And very Mobius as well. And like the surface of Venus kind of gave me sort of a feel of Mobius's artwork as well.
God, that big head. That big head they go past, and then later on you see a big body with crabs coming out the head. Like, did that where the head come from?
Well, this Nathaniel, the bad guy, just seems to be completely in love with himself. And you saw that very... there was a bit following 1987's Transformers the movie, where Unicron gets destroyed and his head kind of... He basically ejects his head before
Pops
the
off.
body explodes, and it flies past the screen. In the comics, they had a thing whereby the head landed on the planet Junk that the Junkians were from. Junkticons? I don't know. I can't remember.
Junkticons.
Yeah.
Shit, it's been a while.
Eric Idle's lot.
Yes.
And basically, the head like enslaves the entire planet to start rebuilding Unicron.
Retgar.
And
That's his name. Retgar.
Yeah, it reminded me of that, seeing like the head there, but also there's nothing more devious as a villain than building a massive statue of yourself, but where your head would normally be is just an entrance to a hollowed out spider house.
Crab hole.
Yeah. And those spiders will jump at you like facehuggers as well.
Nathaniel's got crabs. Whee! I didn't realise his name was Nathaniel.
Nathaniel.
Oh, Nathaniel. Oh, fuck off, Nath.
I thought... Again, it was something quite left to centre and quite creepy about that. And it doesn't sit nicely with me.
And those crabs seem to fall into my least favourite kind of enemy, which is small, knee-high, hard to shoot with a gun.
Did you notice as well that...
to the big ones that burst.
Yeah, and they're still coming at you.
Yeah, Laura was creeped out because she was expecting small ones to come out once they burst. She was like, I don't like it. It's all gross. I don't like it. Ooh, no.
You also got like when one of the girls sort of got close to one of them, there was like a big spike that came out of its like foot and like went for her. I was like, oh!
Don't touch me.
So
Yeah.
I imagine that's going to be like super creepy as well. But
Gross as fuck. But then, shortly after that, though, revealed the best thing, which is there's bounty givers on the fucking open world. You haven't got to go back to the blooming hub every time, because that's the one thing about Planes of Eidolon that's annoying me. I've got to go back every time I want to get a new bounty.
Once you take an area for Solaris United, they actually sort of, the NPCs move in and you can take bounties and stuff. That's really cool. Also, there's the stuff whereby you can... this sounds really druggy again, but you can bounce on flowers, you can land on giant mushrooms, but you can also rescue animals.
That cute tapir dog thing. Oh yeah, no, that me and Laura were very much enjoying that whole section of just find the animal and save him, shoot him with a nice gun. And the way he hung there in stasis, just laughing, and then shoots off into orbit like they're playing Metal Gear 5.
I was going to say, there was a Angry Joe again asked the question. He was like, "Can you use those calling things anytime?" And Steve was like, "Yeah, I know where you're going with this, but yeah." And he was like, "When you defeat a monster, can you just all bring those out and just start honking?" He was like, "Yeah, you can." So we're like, where, like you just defeated like the massive sort of spider creature, and it's there and it's dying. And you see like just like from loads of different people that have been trying to take it down.
Like that fucking World Cup that was in Africa with the vuvuzelas.
That's exactly it. But again, they're not backing away from that. They are completely fine with it. So I like that very much.
Big and spot.
Exactly. So. But I thought it was cool, and even, like I say, that creature was super cute as well. And that bit where it was like, it was looking around, it was like, I'm floating up in the air. And then it just tried walking. And she's like, like his legs were like, oh, I don't really know what's going on. Don't know what's going on. Then like, Metal Geared, straight out of there, and Steve's just like, it's in space now.
We haven't given it a spacesuit. It just died.
Oh, somebody said asked about as to whether you can kill them as well as save them, and if there are like other rewards for killing them. And I think they're being a bit stum on that. But so we should.
Well, didn't they mention it was like Rebecca's like punishment for shooting gulls in the last one?
Well, you found poo, and then
shot the poo.
Yeah. And then bounced on a flower onto a giant mushroom and started again. It seems
stole
like
a tapir.
The prog rock sort of thing just seems to be like sort of going even further than that. So
Steve Irwin, but in space.
So we saw sort of everyone pitching together, and it has to be said, like the fact that Steve was commentating all of this whilst Rebecca, Megan, and Danielle were phenomenal in the way that they were running all this stuff. Even the editing between them was superb. But then, kind of, we saw Rebecca sort of move to the side of a mountain, and the logo came up, and then Steve said, "Oh, thank God it's not crashed," and we all laughed because we thought like, "Oh, he's talking about the other stuff."
He's made it. They've done this. The demo's succeeded. There was 15 minutes worth of running around, and it's all worked really well. God, that's a good demo.
And last time they showed off Plains of Eidolon, and they've given us maybe a little bit more than the Plains of Eidolon in this one, and it's a different thing. But then we saw that the planet was still being bombarded from space, and a huge ship sort of spun from the stars, hugged the side of the mountain, space bomb boarded it with Danielle and Megan, and we left the planet's surface and out into space.
Without cuts.
And even the stuff where they showed how big the ship was and everyone was going bonkers. But when Ordis sort of was telling you about the ship, and then it launched, and you just like, it was like standing next to a giant window as you went through clouds, as you burst through like
atmospheres.
Yeah, it was just like, it was huge. And this was something else in the Angry Joe video when he was asked about this. Steve mentioned two things which are really, really big things for me. One was Battle of the Planets was an influence on this. The other one, The Last Starfighter. Oh my word! I love that film. So at this point, what were you thinking?
I'm thinking, cool. The ship's cool. What are we going to do with the ship? Because we're stood around on the bay of the ship. Is it a new social space? What's the ship for? Is it a mobile command center? What's this all about? Oh, I was wrong.
And then that beautiful reveal where we got into space, and we just like, you saw all the asteroids, and you saw the kind of the former and partially working like defense grid, and then in the distance there was a sort of Star Destroyer sized ship. Rebecca grabbed onto the controls, and it all went like folded around her arms, and we moved towards the all that stuff, and Rebecca was firing upon like meteorites and debris, so we got closer and closer.
Didn't Steve then say, right, battle stations? I'm like, what the fuck? What do you mean battle stations?
But then the battleship spotted us and sent fighters out to get us. This is where Megan and Danielle moved to other parts of the ship, scooched down like Skywalker and Solo into turrets, try and take out the advancing craft, but there were too many of them, and then our ship was boarded.
Yeah.
Suddenly we had enemies breaking into our ship. We got fires to put out as well as baddies to take down. Did you notice that the ship leveled up as well?
I did see
at that point.
Yeah.
It was like, So then our cruiser has controls that can divert power to weapons, shields, and tactical.
Did you see the fire extinguishing?
Yes, I thought
running
it was
around
really
with a fire extinguisher, like, oh my god, are they doing menial tasks? Yes.
I just like that the same sort of power in our hands that can revive people can also put out fires. That's kind of quite cool. But yeah, so our ship's got these controls that can kind of like pull the power into different sort of different echelons.
You can literally shout all power to the shields and have it be a thing you can do.
Steve
Holy
did.
shit.
with
Yes.
glee. So Space Mom moved to scan the battleship, identified its shield. Danielle then headed out in an
flew
Archwing
over.
and boarded the ship.
Ah!
Like taking on wave after wave of enemies. Like there was a bit where she ran into a shield, and Space Mom then went tactical, like hacked into not only the shield but one of the gun turrets in the ship, and started using the gun turret to take their own enemies out.
That's so cool.
Then there was Daniel was taking on wave after enemies, running through the like in the Death Star in Star Wars.
Pretty much.
There was the bit where she was taking out the little bits of the shield that surrounded the core of the ship, and Steve was like, if Danielle looked out of the window now, she'd see the Railjack ship and Space Mom and Megan taking out. That space battle will be going on outside exactly in the same way as it's actually happening. So it's not just you just see maybe like a twinkles of a space fight and stuff. What's going on outside the ship is actually going on outside the ship. So then back on our ship, sort of Space Mom diverts all power to weapons. A new door opens as she swooshes down under deck and fires a torpedo towards the area Danielle marked.
In the
on
big
ship,
gun. Yeah.
Yeah. And then on the ship, Danny has to get out, and it's breaking apart around her. She's running for an exit that will let her leap out into space, back into Metal Wings, and then back onto our ship.
Fucking hell.
I
had to sit and breathe out and let that sit for a minute, because I was like, what the fuck? That's incredible. Like, every part of that was smooth and, like, clicked together. And, I mean, I said this to Laura when this finished. I don't know which job on that ship I want to do more. They all look good. Do I want to fly the ship? Do I want to shoot the big gun? Do I want to be doing the tactical stuff? Do I want to be Mr. Flamethrower at the back? Do I want to be dealing with boarders? Do I want to be going and boarding the other ship? I want to do all of it, but there's only one human. I need to learn more arms and get four TVs and then play with my own self. How? It's so good.
See, one of the things that I really liked about Sea of Thieves was the way that you communicate with each other on the ship, and there was stuff to do. And I can just imagine. I know Steve was saying like this particular bit is like his dream game. It's something that he's always wanted to do. It's like very, very sort of Star Trek in the fact that you're figuring out the best way to run your own ship. And I love the fact that the Railjack moved slowly. It wasn't like this super fight, and it kind of did so with like a.
Yeah, it's a battleship. It's not.
Yeah, it felt really good. And also that in itself gives the decisions you make. It gives them sort of an extra gravitas because they're affecting something that isn't this super live mega fighter. It's this lump that's going up against a lump, and you have to be clever with the way that you put shields, or you move towards like more powerful weapons, or you move to your tactical stuff, all of this. I was watching, and my jaw was on the floor. I can't believe that there's the ambition to do this, and this is something that I found out today. Right, Angry Joe said, "So, when's this coming out? When do you want it to come out, and when do you think it'll come out?" And Steve said, "Fortuna and Venus will be autumn. Railjack before the end of the year."
Jesus fuck. They are working on this game, aren't they? Like, and the thing is, to reveal, I think Fortuna Unknown would have been enough to show and have everyone go away happy. Like, because that was a great, really, really good video. And then this on top at the end, you're like, are you shitting me? Are you, like, this is the sort of thing that E3s need. Like, by the way, look at this.
This was, when we, on the E3 show, when we discussed deep dives, right? There was none of the, there was no point of this where I wasn't utterly enthralled, because it was a nice momentum from the start of it with the song, from seeing sort of Fortuna and then Venus, and then leading up to this as the end result. That's half an hour. And yet the people that were presenting it and the people that were playing it were so excited to show us the nuances of it. not the ways that they could sell it to us, and not the sort of hooks that they think would be kind of buzzwords and would get them attention. These were people that have been keeping a secret for a year and have been working so hard on it. And you even saw sort of afterwards when the Railjack bit finished. And let's just say, the point where the front of that ship lifted up and it started channeling like the hyperdrive.
Oh, yeah.
Just phenomenal. But you saw like Megan, Danielle, and Rebecca just like all super hooked, because all of that came together so well, and it wasn't pre-recorded. They were all playing that at that time.
That's the thing that kicked me. Like that's like live play, like of a thing that we haven't seen yet. And let's be fair, live play of something that's pretty goddamn involved. There's a lot going on.
Well, also we spoke about the Ubisoft aspect of having kind of pretend chat between people and stuff. And this was just 3 people cannoning through a game, and then the creator of the game just basically going like, and there's this you can do, there's this you can do, there's this you can do, oh my god, look at this, and what about this? And all of it just, none of it just seemed contrived at all. Like, and this is something that has always come across about Warframe, is it comes across as sincere. Every decision that's made, like the sheer ambition, there are things that don't come off, there are things that do, there are things that ballpark it in ways that many games don't come close to. And I love appreciating, because that's art. That is art. And I just think that you can see why 411,000 people were watching that stream.
Yeah, that's
like more
jokes,
than Fortnite, more than anything else on there. And then 500,000 people tried to log on to the game.
Yep. Which broke the servers, didn't it, apparently?
Right, I'll tell you this as well. Like when, like my reaction to all of this, like the 7-year-old me that saw like Star Wars back in the day, saw it at the cinema, and going in there, it was like went on the bus at night, and it seemed I was on the top deck of the bus, and it felt like the window of the bus was kind of as widescreen as a cinema. And I went in there and I got a program, and I sat in there, and I asked my mum about it, and my mum said, like, you sat down and Star Wars started, and you were like, this isn't Star Wars. This isn't Star Wars. My mum was like, yeah, it is, it's Star Wars. And I was like, this isn't, and I cut off. And I said to her, like, what happened after that? And she said, you gazed at the screen with your jaw open, and it didn't close until the end of the film when I closed it for you. Like, that 7-year-old me, if you'd have told him that he could be in the Millennium Falcon with friends, be invaded by the Empire, invade the Death Star, that's the level of excitement I have in the modern day for this. It was weird on Monday morning. I looked at the main news sites, and all the news sites were Warframe's coming to Nintendo Switch. And on Twitter I was like, nobody's put articles up about like the Tennocon, and I don't understand how you can do a presentation like that and just ignore it. And a few did follow up sort of after that, but there was a part of me that was just flummoxed that excitement was just bursting from her chest, and yet mainstream news sites who are quick to bemoan loot box controversies and games that do something bad, here's your free game that's suddenly like there's so much ambition and so much to talk about, and I just saw nothing.
It don't get those clicks though, does it? Because you look at their metrics, and if you write stories about Fortnite, people click those because that's the biggest game. It sucks, and it's just.
But the audience is there. It's not as if you've got some sort of little indie battler that's looking for like a little bit of a niche or a little bit of a push. 411,000 people watched that stream. When I'm watching the Xbox One or PS4 streams or the dev streams or Prime Time or whatever, there are thousands of people like tuning into that, and like it's like top 5 in Steam all the time, and I just don't understand the level of kind of apathy that's coming from a lot of places, and I think there's going to be a certain point where they can't continue to ignore it.
I think I'd have thought we'd be there already by now, to be honest.
Yeah, I kind of do as well. And you know, I mean, as for DE themselves, we've experienced this beautiful, brilliant, flawed, ambitious sort of slice of wonderment. Going back further than that, there's the company that saw their sci-fi adventure turned away, that built Dark Sector, that went through this world of financial insecurity, took a chance on that last roll of the dice in following their dreams. And that's what we saw, like, just so proudly shown off at the weekend. That was dreams that were on the screen. It truly, truly was.
You could see his entire body breathe out when they finished that presentation, couldn't you? His entire being was like, okay, we've shown it now.
Did you see Steve did that bit where he looked like he was doing guitar, but then he kind of mimicked like a circular motion over his crotch? And like people said to him, like, what was that about? He was like, I had no idea that I'd done it. I had no idea why I did it. And then somebody did like the equivalent of one of those videos where it was just him. Somebody cut him out like doing that motion, and they were just throwing him into space, and like he was going down a road doing it, and then all of that other stuff. But yeah, I mean. There's also the thing that, you know, with all those people watching the stream and logging on afterwards, the Twitch drop, which was supposed to give everybody a free Ash Prime for watching, failed, and the servers went blank. But they decided that everyone who watched or logged on to a Twitch stream for Warframe in the last week got a free Ash Prime. All of those people know exactly what's coming in the game, will undoubtedly tell their mates, and more people play Warframe. That's just... Plus, you know, the thing that we've sort of skipped on past is that Warframe has come to Switch under the gaze of Uber Dev's Panic Button, who are responsible for the very highly regarded Doom and Wolfenstein 2 The New Order ports. No, New Colossus, isn't it? New Colossus is Wolfenstein
That's the one, yeah.
2, yeah.
See, that's going to be like a good gig for them as well, because it's going to be an evolving... Because they said they want to keep the Switch port up to date with the other consoles, don't they? Obviously, PC will always be first, but like usually they're about a month behind on console, depending.
This was something that was pointed out to me when they were like, "No, do you think it'll run on Switch?" And I was like, when Planes of Eidolon came out, the first thing that they tested it on was a Windows XP PC from like the year 2000, and they're proud of the fact that the game runs on toasters and
potatoes.
Yeah, and that they kind of make sure the game's running on those kind of systems, and then they add the bells and whistles and they see what they can do as they work forward, which is superb. And I think the game will be just wonderful on Switch, especially if, you know, somebody's on a train journey, or because we've said ourselves that it's a great one to lose 15 minutes, half an hour in, and just feel like you're making progress and enjoy having an arcadey shoot.
I've seen that they're letting you transfer, I think for a month, they're letting you transfer your account over to the Switch.
I think that's from PC, isn't it?
Is it from PC? I thought it was other consoles as well.
Oh, I don't know.
I might be wrong. But I'm telling you now, don't you fucking dare. I will disown you.
No, I'm the one that's got like an Xbox One and a PS4 separate accounts. So they've always been pretty open that each one is running on sort of separate servers and has separate specials, and I don't think it's kind of a Fortnite situation.
A one-to-one, yeah.
So what was your super sort of, you know, overview of what you saw? Well, it brought you back to Warframe for a start. It
basically has, yeah. I mean, I was kind of on the way back anyway. I think I'd done the War Within the day before that I watched the trailer, or the Tennocon stream. Turns out, by the way, don't do a big cinematic quest without brushing up on the one before it, because I did not know what the fuck was going on for the first half of that. But yeah, putting it back to Tennocon, just the passion of the team, like because it was obviously they got this out like the normal dev streams, but in front of 100 people or a couple of thousand people.
They were
and even when they showed off
in that room.
when they showed off like a couple of the concept arts for new Warframe skins and stuff
Yeah.
that had been shown before or been leaked. And the crowd went, "Oh, here's this one." They went, "Yeah." I went, "Pretend you haven't seen it." Ooh! And then one guy at the back went, "Holy crap!"
But isn't this like the equivalent of or the opposite of like an EA, where you get some sort of smarmy android that comes out and just tells you what you really want, and this just looks like there's a bond between this company and their fans that's genuine, and it just came across like they were super excited to share this with you, that they've been gnawing on this secret for the longest time, and it's a joy to sort of see the passion that was there as well. Also, that new Warframe that's coming out, that is a vampire, the one that's looks like it's got like massive skeleton hands, like bent
Garuda.
backwards. Yeah.
Well, they said if Valkyrie is like anger, then Garuda is indifference.
Yeah,
Which looks
and
great.
and it is another sort of it is a vampire one, but they said like there's like an elegance to it as well. And somebody pointed out that Garuda is Indian mythology, I think. So
I think it is, yeah.
It could be interesting.
I think it's a birdie deity or something like that. I'm sure of it.
Yeah, because that comes across in the way that he was kind of standing, I guess, as well. So yeah, again, like you look at that. What if vampire, but Indian bird deity, but also wings coming off its hands, but they're like skeleton hands bent backwards. Have you been on the marshmallows again, John? Yes, I have. There's none of them left. I've got more in my bag. You can have one.
I did like the Limbo, who I couldn't tell was Limbo.
Yeah.
That was weird. Limbo Prime's just appeared online, hasn't it, now as well, which looks delicious.
What do you mean, the Limbo that you couldn't tell was a Limbo?
It's a deluxe skin, I think. It didn't look like him.
Oh, I got you, because there were some other like skins that were there as well.
Yeah, it's like a whitey, greeny, whitey, reddy one.
There was one that looked like a Grant Morrison X-Men costume for one of them. It got like, but it was like hands that were like the glowy illustration that was on the front was like hands like forming an X.
Oh, it's Nidus, like with the Lautrec armour, like the hiding. And then as Nidus gets more gross, that armour grows and evolves.
Also, that Vauban like deluxe just looked monstrous.
Thick boy,
Yeah,
very strong boy. Don't knock that boy down.
They were saying like in that, it was Tactical Potato was saying like he actually looks in that costume to be bigger than Rhino. I was like,
large boy.
That's super cool. And considering that I have finally nearly built Vauban Prime, 7,000 Oxium. That's a long grind.
But you're nearly there, and you'll feel good when you've done it because you'll have built him yourself.
I will do, yeah. But I think because this is the thing. Like you can grind for stuff, and you can say like, oh yeah, I've got a cool Warframe. But the chances are that if you get that, you'll be looking at the skins anyway, and you'll go like, yeah, I want to personalize that. And I heard the thing said about any of these sort of games that if the community is in a good place, that they'll spend money, and it's entirely true. We were talking last night, and I said that I'd been making sure that I gave the devs a bit of money every month, just simply because I'd been loving the shit out of it. And in January, when all the plat was reduced and stuff, I think I was going to buy a load of plat on its own, but I ended up getting like a decent amount of plat, but with Mirage Prime and like the Bolt Aces and stuff, which I still absolutely love. But I was like, right, this is the amount of money that I'd spend in 6 months, so I'll do it all at once and I'll get more plat for it. I still haven't been through all of that plat at all. So that was a good purchase for me. And those guns, I absolutely love those pistols to pieces. I think they're fantastic. Don't regret it in the slightest. So it's interesting at this point to know that the company are more successful than they've ever been, but they're still showing this amount of ambition. Like, if there was any point where you could go, yeah, I can kind of understand them resting on the laurels a bit, because they've
added a new planet to the map, a new map type. Oh, there's a slightly different Warframe now.
Because you can look at certain other companies who have taken their audience for granted and have
bungle
and have then sort of are still continually trying to milk them for all it's worth. And yet I'd wager that people spend more money on Warframe because they don't have to than all the stuff that's happening with...
Do you remember when Destiny released an add-on pack that you couldn't play unless you bought the other two add-on packs?
Yeah.
And then Warframe were like, here's an entire other game for free, basically. Here you go.
It is kind of... Whenever somebody's sort of going to be diving into this, I always, I send them Brad Galloway's sort of starter guide, and I give them like a little bit of a brief and stuff, and that it is a game of secrets, and probably doesn't explain itself all that well in that point, but you get your friends playing, talk to us, community's really really great, devs are really great, and people sort of tend to get excited from that. But you can imagine folks looking at this and just going, oh, this looks really good. Started that Warframe, well, when do I get to play Venus? I'm like, don't know, 18 months time.
Yeah.
Really? Well, obviously if you play it a lot in that time, otherwise maybe 2 years. But we were always told that Destiny was going to be an iterative game.
10 years worth of game, yeah.
And if they'd have built Destiny 2 on the back of Destiny, that you could still play Destiny stuff, but Destiny 2 was kind of there as well, and added to that universe, you'd still go, there's a chunky old universe. Some of it's a bit flawed, and but it's worth investing in. But this is, I can't believe like the Railjack stuff, when they were asking, they were like, is the rail thing, is it on rails? And they were like, no, basically you've got that galactic map, and
just fly anywhere you want.
You can now explore the spaces in between, and we're going to fill it with stuff. That's
all we're going to do.
How... I still can't quite process the level of ambition to be able to do this, to be able to pull it off, and to... That was super AAA stuff that we saw in the Railjack bit. Super AAA stuff with a level of sort of desire that you don't tend to see from these sort of games, and you certainly don't with looking at put this side by side with Anthem.
God, yeah. Look how much more it's doing than Anthem or seems to be anyway. Like, because Anthem, I watched that trailer at E3 and I was like, looks fine. I mean, looks fine. Warframe's free though, isn't it?
It's just, but it's funny with Anthem because you've got BioWare, and people will mention that the Mass Effect games were there and they did really good writing and all that sort of stuff. But the cinematic quests here have been really good.
Yeah, I think because there's so few. Like, I think because there aren't a lot of them. There's 4 or 5 now. Is it something like that?
Yeah, I think so. I think
and the ones that really go all in, like they let them breathe, and like, I mean, the War Within, I did that. I started that up thinking, yeah, I can do this, and I was cracking my way through it. And like the last part of that was like an hour and a half on one mission. I was like, Jesus, like, and it was like getting late. I was like, I've got to go to bed soon, but I can't stop now. I
mean, I made some notes on War Within, so we'll have a conversation about that another time. But the voice acting was fantastic again. There was some really brilliant lines in there, some like huge, super surprises. But it does feel like, if you're telling somebody about this sort of stuff, it's like the whole game feels like a series of novels. And it was like, oh yeah, I've just read sort of this novel. When do I get to do that? No, you should really read the first book first and go through them all, because they feel like their own little books like the special quest. They're fantastic, and yet you've got the sort of stuff that we could jump into last night and just have like crazy amounts of fun, because we fought against the odds to be able to do that last night.
God, that was a lot of work. We nearly gave up, didn't we?
And I'm glad we didn't, because that was a proper night of shooting and talking game and just dissolving the everyday blah. And I can't underline how important that a game that can do that is, because it's great. You're getting together with your friends, you're appreciating your love of gaming, and you're trying to figure this stuff out. Also, getting dressed up right nice, like
getting dressed up pretty and showing each other what cool things we have, like my punch weapons, which I had modded for maximum speed and was punching faster than my machine gun shoots bullets.
That was really good.
I remember you running up beside you, like, oh, we'll take these out. I was like, okay, and Randy went, ah!
There was this very sort of childlike thing, like where somebody comes around and you'd be like showing them all your tours, and I was like, these are my swords, and they can do this, and look at when I do this, and like I really like it when I do this, and it was.
Was it a defense mission we did where I brought Big Boy Rhino out with Big Boy Galatine? And we're stood down like, get off the cryopod, that's mine. No, go away. No, not you. You two, go away. Fuck off. Doing that delicious spin attack Rhino does, where he gets a bit dizzy at the end with the not Rhino, but the Galatine does, where you get a little bit dizzy at the end. Like a sweep, and a sweep, and a spin, and a spin, and spin, and ooh, headache, and carry on.
They showed off a new sword in the art stuff that Tactical Potato is showing off, and he says it's actually bigger than the Galatine Prime. And he says, like, I would wager, and he says, and people will like get used to this. He was like, I would wager there might be a 5 to 7 second build up before you can actually lift and swing this thing. It's that big. Yeah.
Big boys.
So, but also it is a little bit of kind of Monster Hunter finding its way into Warframe again. It's like, you know, the massive great swords and stuff. But yeah, it's a beast.
Big boys.
Yeah. So, but I think that art stream has just gone up on YouTube, so I'm gonna dive into that and see what they talk about in that stuff. But yeah, I had fun last night, and I'm glad we're back on this. But I'm super energized for this game. Like super energized.
When's Fortuna out?
Apparently fall. Fortuna and Venus of fall, and
autumn. Come on.
I was saying that for my American friends because I said autumn earlier.
No,
but Steve said it'd be nice if they could end the year by getting Railjack up by the end of the year.
Happy Christmas. Here's a brilliant space bit.
It just makes you wonder sort of what they're then going to be working on for the year after. And also, this is a studio that's got 300 and odd people there, not like over 1,000, like some massive studios that we could mention. And I don't know.
I wanted to let you colour the Railjack ship in orange.
I bet you can fully decorate inside and outside that ship. It's going to be good.
And that viewing panel, I wonder, can you, if you're outside in your art swing, can you fly in front of the viewing panel and wave?
Yeah, of course you can.
Like, ooey!
Also, one thing that we didn't talk about, you know, when Danielle flew out in the Arkwing and she landed on that ship, the tumble and skid into that ship was so good.
So good. And I actually equally appreciated the panic, oh fuck, time to go at the end as well.
I liked it when they got onto the ship in the first place, onto the Railjack ship, and we were following sort of Rebecca's sort of Mag Prime, and then you saw Danielle and Megan sort of coming from the corner, and I think it was Megan's character just like nodded her head. Like, yeah, you're right. And I was like, that's just so subtle. It's fab.
Yes, please.
But I don't know. I just crazy excited about all of this.
It's good to be back.
Yeah, it is super good to be back.
We're having a bit of a renaissance in the last few episodes of our shows, isn't we? Like back in Souls again, back in Warframe again.
Yeah,
it's good to be back.
It feels super special because this has been a huge part of the last, of this time last year, sort of running up until Christmas, and we thankfully there's a lot of people that went on this journey along with us because of us, and we've mentioned before Brad Galloway, like fifth time of asking, decided to give it another go, and one of my favourite times that we've had with this was when Brad and Gina were on those underwater missions with us, and Gina had got her kind of her blackcurrant frost.
Oh God, yeah, I remember. Yeah,
her tasty snow globes. I love this game. I love it to pieces, and Tennocon has underlined just how much I want to support it. Also, last night's stuff just made me want to kind of stream together on this because we had such a good giggle, and having a few other people kind of watching and chiming in would be pretty cool.
Just think, I could annoy you with Limbo live.
No, they've changed it. They've changed it. They've changed it.
Have they?
Yeah, they've gone in and they've altered sort of quite a lot of the Warframes. I think they've.
I know his primary work is different, but I don't know if his regular one is different. I'm pretty sure I can still make you get in the Rift at any opportunity.
I hated that.
Get in the Rift
so much.
Join the Rift.
Buddy, I'm in the Rift.
What you got to do is do a roll. You can get out of the Rift. Get in the Rift. I don't want to be in the Rift. Why can't I shoot anything? Because we're in the Rift.
So what's your next kind of piece? Can we say as well, because there's a lot that's changed in the game with regards to the UI. I'm not sure I particularly love it yet, but I'm getting accustomed to it. I don't like having to use both sticks, but I'm getting used to it. But it is clean and nice and easy to read, though, which is good. I have gotten used to that stuff. The only bit that I'm not so sure about is it's too much of a drift when you've finished the mission to then leave the party, because your cursor's then running up to the top of the screen. Yeah,
triangle leave.
That startup screen now, when you boot up the game, is absolute fire. Lit, as the kids would say.
Ooh, it doesn't, and it doesn't load in Excalibur for a couple of seconds before it shows your Warframe anymore.
Yeah,
which is great.
So, because for the sort of those that haven't seen it, you've now got the last Warframe you use, sort of kneeling down, almost in its kind of just point of slumber as it's kneeling and meditating, and it's just there, and it's like. It's just woken up, like #NoFilter, I woke up this way, #blessed. So,
dear.
I like that the cards now lift up and move with you when you've selected them in the arsenal. That's really good.
I like that. I don't like when you go to put Endo on, because of the way you select it, it comes back and the screen's all kind of woofed off to the left, so you've got to move your cursor back to see how much everything costs. It just cuts off the price off the right-hand side of the screen. It's silly. Yeah.
They're listening now, and
it's obviously still work in progress, and it's getting there. It's getting there. So I don't mind it. And the actual inventory stuff is way better now. It's not just 2 lines at the top. You've got a proper big grid now, because that 2 line at the top inventory is gobshite rubbish.
So what are you doing next in the game? What have you got to do?
I fucking know. I want to try and unlock Inaros, because I think I'm 1 Juggernaut away from Inaros now. I've got to kill Juggernauts. I think I've done 4, but I've lost my Canopic Jar. I can't see it in the ship. I think it's decided to not show for a while, so I can't tell how much I've got to do. And every time a Juggernaut has tried to spawn in an alert recently, the other people haven't been in for it, and I've been shooting infested like no one's business, and the Juggernaut goes away. It's like, no, come on, you bellends.
Did we get anything for killing the Stalker yesterday, by the way?
I don't think I got anything.
No, because I know he was wandering off.
It must have been the Dreadbow one then, because I've already got the Dreadbow.
Yeah, might have done.
Shadow Stalker, yeah.
Because I've got Wukong ready to build, but I've been so focused on trying to get bloody Vauban Prime and all that chuffing Oxium and saving up Nitane, it me.
Oh.
But I've got quite a lot of that now. It's just I've got 300 Oxium still to get.
Oof. Yeah, no, for me it's hopefully Inaros next, if I'm lucky. And then diddling about, probably on the plains, trying to find relics so I can get Loki Prime.
Oh my god, I've
want a
nearly
Prime.
got Gara. I've
Oh,
nearly
nice.
got Gara.
Okay,
So,
I'm
so
close
I
as well.
can-
Actually, yeah, I'm quite close to Gara as well.
I can planes it all with you, mofo.
Yeah, we can planes it, and then
Yeah.
hopefully, like I say, I don't want to get precious about it, but I'd quite like to have Loki Prime as my first Prime frame. Because he was my first. Because he was my first Prime frame. I don't have a Prime frame yet because I don't do any of the Twitch Prime stuff because I haven't got it. I don't do Amazon Prime stuff. I haven't got it, and I never buy anything. So I kind of just pick up assorted bits from here and there. So I kind of want my first Prime frame to be one that I build myself, and I'd like it to be Loki. If it happens to be someone else, that's fine. But I'd quite like it to be Loki.
Can we throw a little spotlight on the my retro wave ship that I got free with the latest Twitch drop, which does look the business.
Hello, it me, the 1980s.
Yeah, and
Here to shoot your space.
Especially when I've got Trinity Prime on inside it, who looks like a big jukebox. That's fine. But I have been running through like missions on my own, just playing like loads of synthwave like playlists and stuff. So yeah, it all ties in, I think. So yeah. So we're gonna be doing a bit more Warframe.
A bit more frame.
Yeah, I'd quite like to stream a few bits, but super excited from the Tennocon stuff. And like I say, we had a whale of a time last night. Like,
It was
just
doofy.
Glorious. So yeah, more of that to come and more of that to come. And yay, thank you very much for listening, everyone. And we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye, everyone. Figgins bot, we must leave.